the Egyptian war chariot. On the walls of the Temple of Abu Simbel in southern Egypt is a depiction of the war chariot in action.
For me, a chariot is an incredible weapon. It allows an armored unit to move around on the battlefield quickly and slay ground soldiers from an elevated position of protection. Devastating tool against any kind of unit.
War chariots were all about shock and awe. They were fast and mobile. For over 1,000 years, they dominated the battlefield. And it was the Egyptian war chariot that was best.
The Egyptian chariots were so well designed, they could zoom around the battlefield up to 30 miles an hour, putting themselves exactly where they need to be to hand out death to the enemy.
These are the fastest weapons on the battlefield. They appeared out of nowhere, can be deployed into any part of the battlefield, surrounding the enemy or attacking from any direction.
There were 2 men aboard, a driver and an archer, each free to concentrate fully on their own job.
A right-handed archer on a horse could only shoot to the left. The advantage of a chariot over a horse is that an archer with a longbow could shoot anywhere. This made chariots deadly fast and precise.
100 chariots could fly around the battlefield, letting off 1,000 arrows a minute in any direction. That's devastating. That's a similar rate of fire to the gun on a modern Apache helicopter.
But what was so special about the design of the Egyptian chariot?
The chariot wheel was made of 6 spokes and a rim made of flexible wood. It meant the whole thing could travel fast across even the roughest terrain. We see those same principles being used in shock absorbency and suspension in the cars we see out on our roads today.
Chariots gave an advantage to whichever side deployed them. But what if both sides had them? It happened 3,000 years ago. The Egyptians against the Hittites in the epic battle of Kadesh.
It's estimated that as many as 6,000 chariots clashed at Kadesh. This is more vehicles on a battlefield than at any time in history.
It was the Egyptian chariot that proved superior. They were better designed and crafted. And with just 1 driver and 1 archer, they were lighter and more mobile than the 3-man machine of the Hittites.
These were effective, very effective weapons.
If you have the ability to put lethal firepower anywhere on the battlefield at a moment's notice, your enemies are always looking over the shoulder. This can be a deciding factor in warfare.
Thanks to its chariot, the Egyptian empire expanded to become the mightiest of its time. And chariots were so revered, the pharaohs demanded to take them with them into the afterlife. Tutankhamun, the most famous pharaoh of all, was buried with 6 incredibly preserved war chariots, 2 of which were clad in gold with shock-absorbing suspension systems.